I'm Ryan Chetiyawardana. I'm a bartender based in London, and we have a couple of bars around the world. We have Lyaness in London, Super Lyan over in Amsterdam, and Silver Lyan in Washington, DC. And then we have our creative agency, which is here in London, which is Mr. Lyan Studio. Lyaness is our flagship in London, and it's been where we've been home in that building for 7 years now. But it's really an evolution of a lot of the way that we've been working, really trying to focus on all of the way that we like to explore the weird and wonderful ingredients, things that kind of push our boundaries a little bit, but how do we connect that to people to make it feel as relevant, as easy and as accessible as possible? I suppose I've been working in the topic of sustainability for about 10 years or so. And it was really interesting when first started exploring it. It was actually seen as a bit of an affront to a lot of the industry. I think some people saw it as being a contrast or an antithesis to what they were trying to explore, a luxury product and something that was all about focusing on the high end. And a lot of the work was trying to talk about how it's not at odds with that. It can go hand in hand, and luxury and sustainability aren't kind of contradictory terms. So it's amazing to see from that position how much it's become normalized. It's become very much part of the fabric, and people have really ran away with it and kind of looked at a range of solutions to look at the problems. Because I think one of the things that I've found within it is there is never one problem per se, and that's geographical. It's across different styles of venue, towards as an industry as a whole, or what do we do as a society as a whole. It's become very normal to address it as a problem, which is essentially what we've all been trying to fight towards. It's the huge part. It was one of the first things that we shifted to when we were looking at the topic. Yes, of course, material waste was important and things like energy and so forth, but it was a major thing of going, well, we need to consider the full chain of things. And a major part of that is the people. But obviously it's acutely on our side as an industry, and we're facing that at the moment through all of the changes that are going on. We're trying to find ways of going, how do we demonstrate that this is it's a long-term viable career for people? It's something that they can be part of for the whole of their lives, and it can be meaningful, it can be creative, it can be, obviously it can support them in a way that they need as well. So, it's all well and good going, okay, we've managed to create something that's, great for our team, great for, the people coming to enjoy it. But if it's then creating a suffering or an imbalance further up the line, then that's not a sustainable cocktail. I think it needs to go hand in hand with government action. I think there's a lot of work being done from the kind of food and drink industry to address the problems that we face, but it's a fraction of it compared to what needs to change on a systemic level. And what we're trying to demonstrate is that there is demand, and it's feasible, and it sits in line with all of the metrics that we all want and need from industry. But it's really trying to encourage the fact that we need to be able to be in dialogue to be able to create proper change. I think the steps that we've taken have actually evolved a lot over almost the 10 years we've been as a company. And from the early days, White Lyan was kind of an exercise in sustainability. That was the kind of demonstration. We had no waste. We didn't, we weren't using fresh materials. We were creating everything ourselves. We set it all up to have our own loops and systems that meant, we recycled bottle caps and we threw away some napkins, and that was about it. But we've tried to kind of explore different sides of the problems as we've gone on. With each of the bars, now with, they're using organic materials, how can we find ways of demonstrating the value of every part of that ingredient? We've taken a very much nose to tail approach with everything that we can, working with people like Ariel or Dr. Johnny, who can help us on the kind of material science or fermentation point of view, and how to use wonderful microbes to be able to transform those waste. The point is to go, this is something that we found a solution to. Hopefully you can either adopt that as a technique, or you can learn and apply it to the problems that you have. The whole sustainability thing is like a hydra, cut off one head, two more appear, and it's like you uncover different things, but there's a beauty to that as well. It's a great creative tool. You're always coming up with new solutions, but you're also then getting more to the core of the problem. So it goes beyond going simply, this is a waste product, to going, this is actually something that we can demonstrate is really valuable to our communities.